Five 4-foot aluminum tubes make up the ProAm U.S.A. HD 750. Most of the crane will arrive pre-assembled, as shown here. The first step is to mount the crane onto a heavy-duty tripod support. Simply thread the base of the crane onto the tripod's legs. It's very important to use a tripod that is rated to support the weight of the crane, which can reach 150 pounds and more. We advise against extending the column and legs of your tripod, as these may collapse during use. Also make sure the tripod remains vertical and level at all times. Next, mount the main cable support rods. These will make a V shape when assembled. One rod is already attached, so use the provided bolt to attach a second rod on the opposite side. Set the mount onto the middle of the crane, lining up the holes as shown. Reinsert the included bolts and secure them with wing nuts on the opposite side. Make sure the eye bolts at the end of each rod are horizontal to the crane's main tube. To attach the rear section, insert one connecting tube into the tripod section. Line up the holes like shown and insert a 3/8-inch bolt into each hole. Secure by hand with the provided nuts. Here is an overview of the assembly so far. Next, attach an eye bolt in the rear section. This will be used to secure the support cables. Insert the eye bolt into the center of the rear section and thread the wing nut onto the bottom. Then insert the counterweight bar into the 1-inch diameter hole. Place it halfway through and secure it by threading in the included eye bolt through the hole directly above the counterweight bar. This prevents the bar from moving side to side. To attach the front section, begin by inserting another connecting tube into the previous section and attach it using two 3/8-inch bolts and nuts. Hand tighten. Place the front section onto the connecting tube. Secure it by inserting the 3/8-inch bolts and hand tightening the nuts on the opposite side. The HD 750 is now 12 feet in total length. Next, attach the remaining large eye bolt to the front section. Insert it in the middle of the section as shown and secure it by threading a wing nut on the bottom of the eye bolt. Now attach the bolt that will hold the camera tilt cable. It's a 4-inch long high-strength steel bolt with a washer, nut, and wing nut. First, remove the nut and wing nut. Insert the bolt into the top hole of the tripod mount. Then thread the nut back on about 3/4 inch. Continue to insert the bolt through the other side. Screw the wing nut on the end until it becomes tight. Note that we are on the left side of the crane. Hook the camera tilt cable end to the bolt, making sure the washer is on the outside, as shown here. Next, attach the bolt that holds the camera tilt cable to the camera platform. Remove the wing nut, insert the bolt into the top left hole of the camera platform, and tighten the wing nut to the other side. Attach the camera tilt cable to the camera platform. Hook the turnbuckle at this end, making sure the washer is on the outside of the turnbuckle. Tightening the turnbuckle will bring the platform level. Now begin attaching the 51-inch long rear support cables. Hook the turnbuckle to the cable support rod and use an S-hook to hook the end of the cable to the eye bolt in the rear section. Lightly tighten the turnbuckle. Here, both rear support cables are attached and tightened. Now, attach both 51-inch front section cables. Hook the turnbuckle to the support rod and using an S-hook, attach the end of the cable to the eye bolt in the front section. Tighten the turnbuckle so that the cable becomes taut. Fine-tuning the cables will be done after the camera and counterweights are added. Attach the camera using the mounting hardware provided. Place the large rubber washer in between the camera and platform. Thread the thumb screw into the camera and tighten the retaining knob. If the camera is not level, adjust the turnbuckle that is connected to the camera platform. Tighten to raise the angle and loosen to lower the angle. After the camera has been securely attached, it's time to mount the counterweights. Use plate weights with a 1-inch interior diameter. Place larger plates first, followed by smaller plates. Continue adding weight until the rear of the crane has enough weight to lift the camera load off of the ground and come to rest in a horizontally balanced position. Secure the weights using the provided clamps. Counterbalance is required for a safely operating system. Do not attempt to operate the crane without properly balancing it first. Finally, check that the main panning screw at the tripod base is not loose. Using the included Allen key, tighten the screw shown here. The Allen key may need to be inserted upright to fit. The lock washer will compress fully. Check this screw before each use and tighten if necessary. The HD750 is now completed at the 12-foot configuration. To make the 16-foot configuration, add 1 extension tube and 3 extension cables. After removing the front section, place the extension section onto the connecting tube. Secure it with 3/8-inch bolts and nuts as done before. Add another connecting tube, secure with bolts, and place the front section onto the connecting tube as shown here. Before mounting the camera, remove the tilt cable from the camera platform and add a 48-inch extension cable. As shown here, 2 additional 48-inch extension cables have been added to the front support cables. The HD750 is now completed at the 16-foot configuration. To make the 20-foot configuration, use 2 extension tubes and a total of 6 extension cables. Repeating the steps from before, attach the two 4-foot extension tubes between the front section and the other sections of the crane. Add the extension cables to the front support cables and to the camera tilt cable. The support cables may be adjusted to bring the crane body into alignment. In the 20-foot length, a helpful attachment is the rear control handle. Using a 5-inch bolt inserted from the bottom of the crane, thread on the control handle until it is tight. The HD 750 is now completed at the 20-foot configuration. Smooth, gentle motions as shown here produce the best results. Do not try and force the crane into quick starts or stops. Doing so could put the system off balance and cause a collapse. Always observe caution when operating the crane. Tilt and pan brakes. The vertical tilt may be locked by tightening the large knob on the tilt brake bars. Only use the tilt brake when the crane is properly balanced with counterweight. This is when no more force is required to lift the crane than to lower it. The crane will balance on the fulcrum points and movements will be effortless. Locking the tilt brake when the crane is not properly balanced could lead to a collapse. The panning movement may be braked by tightening the 4 nylon knobs on the base of the tripod mount. Be sure to unlock them before attempting to pan.